Today, we're going to do like a geophysical analysis, create a seismic attributes, how to do the seismic attribute inside GeoGraphix and the GVERSE product, some color inversion, and after that, integrate that data between the geological, petrophysical, and geophysical analysis inside our module. And the next, we're going to be the resources and the next steps that we're going to do. With a more introduction, let's go do the live demonstration. Let's go minimize this one. And what we have here is the GVERSE Geomodeling, which is the geological interpretation tool that we have inside GeoGraphix. It's one of the GVERSE tools. And inside a GVERSE Geomodeling, we can do geological analysis using different tools to do some static modeling. And we're going to do a few of them inside this area. Right now, we have here all our wells, all the wells that come from well-based database, and all the layers that you see here, they're coming from were created in GeoAtlas. We have a satellite image to see what is the location in the right windows. We have a 3D view of all the wells that we have in this area. We select kind of a small area. We have the same satellite image display here, the surface, and all the information. Let's go turn off this one to see a little bit more, and we have all the wells. I create some layers, petrophysical layers, using our petrophysical tool, and bring that layer inside the GVERSE Geomodeling to see a little bit more about what's going on with the area, the wells, to have kind of better understanding of the area. Right here, we have displaying all the wells, like I was saying. I select into my wells group. I select the different curves that I want to display. In this case, I just want to see the gamma ray in this area, but all the LAS files and all the curves that you import inside GeoGraphix, they're going to be available here in GVERSE Geomodeling. So you can display different type of the curve data, up to 2 curve data. You can display per well. I display here my formation types of the area, and I start seeing one of the surface that I'm interested in to see, which is the Madison surface right here. We can also display all the surface if you want, the surface that you bring inside your interpretation, and you can display all of them at once into the 3D interpretation. In our case, we just want to see one of the surface. I'm going to turn it off here in the 3D. I'm going to display here my 2D interpretation. Nice. We have all this well, we have all this area, and we're seeing some kind of changes here into the contours. It's telling me something that's what's going on inside there. We talk with the petrophysics, like I said. We open our petrophysical package, which is GVERSE Petrophysics, all name it was Prism. We load all the wells, we create our report, we run our some petrophysical analysis, we did some arch interpretation. Here is the question. You can create your own equation, modify the questions, and do whatever changes that you want. Save it, apply it, create your cross plot, see the information with the cross plot. You can compare actually all the wells that you have into the cross plot. We select the multi-well cross plot, we load it, we run it to see how does it look like pretty much in all the wells. We have the information here, the Madison, the detrital is and conformity. We see kind of the area that we are interested in here. Within that analysis right here, we save the information. I create the layers, all the layers you saw in the petrophysical analysis that were from the Archie equation. I create the layers and brought those layers here just to have an idea. Very good, but we still need more tools to integrate here to say what's going on. I can open my cross-section. I see my cross-section. The cross-section, when I open the cross-section, is going to be displaying right away on my 3D view right there. It's nice and beautiful. And we have the information here. We'll have my cross-section. I select my formation top. I say here my inconformity, my logs, everything right there. And I can see that something's going on in this area. But I need more information. The more information I can get it from the geophysical analysis. I open GVERSE Geophysics. The old name, it was Size Vision, and I have here my surface display, and I have here one of the arbitrary lines that I open and display into the information. We pick some of the horizon, we display the wells, we have some wells with Sonic, we have here into one of the tools called ThinView to do a synthetic analysis. We have the different information, and this is again the area that we are interested in, and we can see right there in the synthetic. Inside GVERSE Geophysics, we have a 3D interpretation tool. Again, I'm going to open the 3D interpretation tool, and all the layers, again, that I create or display in GeoAtlas are going to be able to display right here. I have my satellite image to kind of have a better understanding of the area. I have my wells. I can see the information and display the well. It's going to turn off the satellite image. Look, the location. I have my seismic cube. Here, I have also all the townships and section and grids. Let's go turn that off. And I have my information right here. What we can do inside GVERSE Geophysics, we can come here to the horizons, pick the horizons, or if we already have some horizons already picked and all this information, we can open some inline cross-line. I already did that one, and I opened some inline cross-line, and I displayed that one here on the 3D view. We can put it side by side if we want to, the windows side by side with the interpretation to see actually what is my map and where is my seismic data displaying. I have again my wells. If I want to change the palette, I can select the palette what we have here and change the color to see my inline and cross line. I also display the wells. I when select the wells from my well list, they're already added into the geophysical interpretation, display the well. If I don't want to see the well boards, I can turn those on and off if I need it, or I can come here to the scene and select the wells and turn that thing off. So I don't have all the wells. Right here, I display the Madison surface and to see, again, what's going on in that area, because we know that something's going on. We have some wells, the wells that were not good, and we want to study more what happened in that area. So we have here the seismic, inside GVERSE Geophysics, we added a few new tools, like for example, to create geobodies that we can extract information from the area that we want to do the interpretation. We select the area. I just open a second window, and we can go and select the geobodies. To select or create the geobodies is just simple. We just added the name, and it's already right here. We selected picking on the horizon that we want, and create the geobodies to see what's going on. What is the changes that we can see here on the seismic? We can see some changes. We can see that some structures, they are not showing right away on my seismic, and I can see some changes, probably due the unconformity or not the position, it was erosion. We need to dig a little bit more inside into the seismic to see if we can extract more information and get more data and bring it into the geological interpretation. Very well. We want to see some changes inside the seismic. So what is the best way to do it is to apply seismic attributes. So in GeoGraphix, we have the tool that's called the Seismic Attributes or GVERSE attribute. We click it, we open, and this tool is going to be open. It's called GVERSE attribute. With this tool, with the GVERSE attribute, the users can create and work with 15 windows at the same time and apply more than 42 different attributes. In this case, we have the original. We can change here the color palette for the original. We can put, I click the wrong one. We can change the palette, change how we want to look the spectrum on the seismic, And in this right side, we have a new window. Inside that new window, we can apply any of the attributes that we have here. We have trace, spectral decomposition, tensor, structural, etc. So we're going to apply the instantaneous amplitude to see what's going on in that area. So we can see here from the attribute that we just applied, and let me change this one to some other color, that we have some changes right here that we can see here is a little bit, but it's more continuous. But here with the attribute, we can see something better. If we're going to apply another attribute, we can just click on the add symbol, we add another window, and we can create another attribute. Let's go see instantaneous frequency and see if they give me some information. That one is I just applied, is create the attribute right away. Let's go move here to get better colors if we can see, and probably change the palette to have a better information. This probably instantaneous frequency didn't give me that much information as probably instantaneous amplitude. Let's go open another one and see what happened. We can go to the frequent tune attribute. Let's go look for the geometric attribute, and let's go run an ESP attribute and see what happened with the attribute. So we open the ESP attribute. It's look a little bit dark. We can play with the colors to see better. We play with the spectrum, and we can probably start playing to see if we can manage to see some of the colors better into the interpretation. We're just moving the nodes, putting the spectrum that we want, and we can see a little bit better. It's something right here in the structure. If we want to work with the inline or cross line or a time slide, we just can select it here. Here is just selecting where on the seismic you can move back and forth. You can also change here if we want to see everything in time slide. So it just changes this one to a time slide. Automatically it's doing for me. I just go back to instantaneous phases. We can see a little bit some changes here in the structure, or we can go here and this one is the original one and compare each one of them. If we just saw the time line, we can do in probably in a cross line and to compare all of them. If we want to see all the changes now in a 2D view or in a 3D, we can click here in the 3D view, open a 3D view, and apply every single of the attributes that I want right away into a 3D view. If we have the horizons, we can select the horizons, display the horizons right there. I just added all the horizons that I just loaded into my interpretation, and it's going to appear into the GVERSE attribute and to see all the different attributes. If you have a spectral decomposition, we can apply some seismic or some of the amplitude or the phase or whatever attribute that you want to use to see, in this case, it's probably going to be the channels or the inconformity better. We can apply that attribute. We do the analysis, we see, we can play with the RGBA and comp blending inside the attribute. And after we see the attributes that we want to use, is when you select and generate the volume. The volume is going to be generated to save time. I just already did it. Generate the volume and save the volume. It's going to appear directly into GVERSE Geophysics. All the volumes, they're going to be bringing here into GVERSE Geophysics, and they're going to appear here into the data manager. They're going to be loaded the volumes right there. With those volumes, I can go back here into my 3D interpretation because it's easier for me to see the 3D interpretation. And I can select, let me make these windows a little bit bigger, and select whatever volumes that I select and create for my attribute and display those volumes right over there into the seismic. So I have here the chase frequency. I can create with my GeoBody, turn this one off, and I can see that what's going on here. I can see some bodies right there. If I turn off the GeoBody, I can see that one aligned perfect with that one. In Magnificent, we apply the seismic attributes, and we have some good data based on the seismic attribute. But what happens if we want to see some seismic inversion? We want to see a little bit more data to see if we can extract more data based on the seismic and the seismic tools that we have. Well, inside GVERSE Geophysics, we also have another tool. Is called GVERSE inversion. It's basically a colored inversion that you can apply into your seismic. You just click the tool, select the wells that you want to use, and the background, compute the background model based on whatever the horizon that you want to use. You click it, you launch it, and it's going to run and do the seismic colored inversion. It's going to seismic impedance. We're going to take out of all the data, and that seismic is going to be saved again right here. Your volume of that color inversion is going to be saved right here in your interpretation. So into that interpretation, we have our colored inversion that we can display right there. If you want to see both side by side, we can see both side by side. So based on here on the colored inversion, we have some kind of different approach that we can see and extract for the seismic. We have these kind of little areas right here between the detrital and little in the top. We have kind of some little bodies in this area that we need to kind of take under consideration. Again, if we want to go back to the 3D area, we can bring into the 3D area and we can display that seismic colored inversion based into our interpretation. I just open an inline, I just select it, and I told that open the colored inversion, and I can see what's going on. Here's my detrital. If I select it and start moving, navigating through my seismic, and I can see all the changes and everything that I'm looking for. Probably some anomalies into that specific area that we want to do investigation. If I want to also convert the interpretation from a time to depth mode, I can do it automatically into the 3D. Let me go here a little bit out. Let me turn this one off. And we click here the time to depth change domain mode. We just click on it and automatically changes from the time domain that it was created the interpretation to a depth mode interpretation. So we can see the interpretation probably in a depth mode to have kind of an idea of how it's going to look the seismic if we have a depth mode interpretation. We click it back and it's going to take it back my interpretation as a time mode. That's very nice. And now I just want to create a time slice. I need another interpretation view. I create a time slice using my seismic attribute volume that I created. I create a probe to see what's going on with the interpretation, and I can navigate the time slide through my probe. So I can go a little bit up to the top and see all the changes that we see. So every time we go past that unconformity, we can see some really interesting changes into this area, into that kind of the formation top that we are interested to investigate and navigate. Saving that interpretation, saving all that data, I can go back to my geological interpretation to here to GVERSE Geomodeling, open my cross-section, several cross-section. I can go select the seismic model, the interpretation that we have. We can select here the different type of seismic that we have. We can select here the horizons that we want. We click apply, we turn on, and we can display the seismic as a backdrop. So I can make this one a little bit clear. We go back and make what's going on. So we have here the formation tops, and this one is purple, and this red one here, they are the horizon. They look a little bit different because they use different grading algorithm, obviously, and it was speaking through the seismic. But at least we have kind of an idea of what's going on. If we create a velocity model, which we can do inside GVERSE Geophysics, you can create your personal velocity model based on the horizon that you pick. You select the different type of model, create a model, and apply the model. You can bring and apply that model right here into geological interpretation. I just want to help it to shift the data inside interpretation because it's attached between the horizon and the formation top. Let's go this one a little bit to the right, and you can see every time that I open my interpretation, it's going to open into my 3D. And you can see my seismic. If I turn off the seismic, I'm just going to see only my correlation. So this is going to open another cross section to compare. This one is a little bit different cross section. This one is more to the north. It's this one right here. And we can apply the same principle. We're going to see, we're going to analyze, I'm going to select, apply the seismic as a backdrop, and still seeing this one of what's going on here. But still remember that we know this one is in conformity, this one is formation, and it's not giving me all the information. It's going to move it, it's going to open another cross section just to compare, and so far and so on. How many cross sections can you open here with GVERSE Geomodeling? I stopped counting on one time when I reached 70 different cross sections. So it's a lot of cross sections that you can open. So we have this one right here. Let's go display this one. We can go a little bit zoom in, see what it's going to see with interpretation. All the tracks that you see here, they're the tracks that we're creating in GVERSE Petrophysics, all the petrophysical analysis, you can bring it right here. In this case, let's go change the seismic that we're using, and let's go use one of the volumes that I create. Remember that we create some of the volumes using the seismic attribute, apply that one to see if we can see any changes with the attribute with this one right here. The RMS doesn't look that great. This one, the instantaneous amplitude, is giving me a little bit more information probably in this area if we compare with the other cross section. So we see here that something is going on here, and we can see this body doing something different. It's telling me something. So inside GVERSE Geomodeling, we have these tools to do some, like I say, static modeling. This is called the conformance tool. We select the conformity training, and if we create a conformity network, we apply that one as well. We can see what's happening with the structure right here. When we apply those conformity tools and all the information, we're going to see all the trimmings into the formation top. So let's go back here, and you can see how this one is my unconformity and how all the other formation tops truncates into that one. So let me do it again. You can see how the formations continue right here, the Madison, and the other formation they are continuous, but when we apply the conformity tools, the conformity tools, you're going to see all the truncation, which if we apply the seismic as a backdrop, we can see some of the changes right here. It's telling me that something is going on over there. Perfect. Those changes are going to apply to all the cross section. We have here again, we have all the truncation into that cross section, and all those changes are going to be applying into the mapping as well. If you didn't pay that close attention to the map, remember that we have displayed that information top that was the Madison, and it was showing me completely into my area. Let's do it again so you can see it to see how that tool works. So this one is kind of the original, how it's going to look according to the formation tops and the picking that we did into the formation. We apply the trimming, we click the update the model, and automatically the software is going to do the trimming, and it's going to show me that here where is the unconformity, where is the intersection, with which unconformity is intersected, and it's going to show me right here, and it's going to show me here into the 3D model. So if we can see here into the seismic probe in the 3D model, it's telling me that some channels or something, it was not a position into that area. We can go back and we can open more of the cross section to see if we have a cross section that going north, south, east, west, more of that information. You can see this one is all the truncation right there. We can apply also the seismic, and it's going to start showing more and more confidence information to probably plan the next well, the next target, or to explain what's going on structural into that area. So every time that we open the cross section, we can select the seismic that we want to display as a backdrop, and that one is going to be applying into that area. It's not going to reach this one because the seismic you can go all the way over there. Again, if you have the velocity model, you can come and apply the model into your geological interpretation. It's doing the updates, and it's going to be the update inside the geomodeling model. Okay, it's showing me. Okay, it's moving right here, and apply those changes into the model automatically. If we want to turn off, we can turn off those models inside the geological interpretation. Well, as I was saying, this one was pretty much, let me switch this one, just to show you how you can integrate the different type of tools that we have inside GVERSE and GeoGraphix, especially on the geophysical part as colored inversion to get some acoustic impedance and extract some of the value for your seismic directly from GVERSE Geophysics, create your volume and apply that volume into GVERSE Geophysics, and you can apply that volume as a backdrop into your geological interpretation. You work with all the seismic, create some seismic attribute, select whatever attribute that you want to use, have a preview of the attribute in real time, and generate the volume, and apply the volume directly into the geophysical analysis and bring it into your geological interpretation as a backdrop, and have more tools to see what's going on into that area specific that you want to do in interpretation. And work back and forth between the geophysics and the geology, picking the brain of each other and showing in a very nice and clear 3D view all the different changes, the